yet a doubt remains, which only thy solution can resolve. When I behold this world of heaven and earth consisting, and compute their magnitudes, this earth a spot, a grain, an atom, with the firmament compared and all her numbered stars, which seem to roll spaces incomprehensible, merely to officiate light round this opacious earth, this punctual spot. One day and night in all their vast survey, useless besides. Reasoning, I oft admire how nature, wise and frugal, could commit such disproportions. With superfluous hands, so many nobler bodies to create, greater so manifold to this one use.
To ask or search, I blame thee not. For heaven is as the book of God before thee set, wherein to read his wondrous works, and learn his seasons, hours, or days, or months, or years. But this to attain, whether heaven move or earth, imports not, if thou reckon right. The rest, the great architect from man or angel, did wisely to conceal, and not divulge his secrets to be scanned by them who ought rather admire. Or, if they list to try conjecture, he the fabric of the heavens hath left to their disputes, perhaps to move his laughter at their quaint opinions wide, which no advantage gain. What if the sun be center to the world, and other stars by his attractive virtue and their own incited, dance about him various rounds? Leave them to God above, him serve and fear. Of other creatures, as him pleases best, wherever placed, let him dispose. Joy thou in what he gives to thee, in this paradise and thy fair Eve. Heaven is too high for thee to know what passes there. Be lowly wise, think only what concerns thee and thy being.
How fully hast thou satisfied me, pure intelligence of heaven, angel serene. And apt the mind or fancy is to rove unchecked, and of her roving is no end, till warned or by experience taught, she learned that which before us lies in daily life is the prime wisdom. What is more is few. Thee I have heard relating what was done ere my remembrance. Now hear me relate my story, which perhaps thou hast not heard. For man to tell how human life began is hard, for who himself beginning knew. Desire with thee still longer to converse induces me, as new waked from soundest sleep, soft on the flowery herb I found me laid. Straight towards heaven my wondering eyes I turned, and gazed awhile the ample sky, till raised by quick instinctive motion, up I sprung. About me round I saw hills and dales, and shady woods and sunny plains, and liquid laps of murmuring streams. By these, creatures that lived and moved, and walked, or flew. Birds on the branches warbling, all things smiled. With joy and with fragrance my heart o'erflowed. Myself I then perused, and limb by limb, but who I was, or where, or from what cause knew not. To speak I tried, and forthwith spake, and readily could name whate'er I saw. Thou sun, said I, fair light, and thou celestial earth, so fresh and gay. Ye hills and dales, ye rivers, woods and plains, and ye that live and move, fair creatures all, tell if ye saw how came I thus, how here?
Thy mansion wants thee, Adam. Rise. First man of men innumerable ordained. First father, Called by thee, I come thy guide to the garden of bliss, thy seat prepared. Whom thou soughtest, I am, author of all thou seest, above, or round about thee, or beneath. This paradise I give thee, counted thine to till and to keep, and of the fruit to eat. Of every tree which in the garden grows, eat freely with glad heart, fear here no dirt. But of this tree whose operation brings knowledge of good and ill, which I have set the pledge of thy faith and thy obedience amid the garden by the tree of life, remember what I warn thee. Shun to taste, and shun the bitter consequence. For know, the day thou eat'st thereof, my sole command transgressed, inevitably thou shalt die. From that day mortal in this happy state shalt lose, expelled from hence into a world of woe and sorrow.
Oh, by what name? For thou above all these, above mankind, or aught than mankind higher, surpassest far my naming. How may I adore thee, author of the universe, and all this good to man, for whose well-being so amply and with hands so liberal thou hast provided all things. But with me I see not who partakes. In solitude what happiness, or all enjoying, what contentment find?
What callest thou solitude? Is not the earth with various living creatures, and the air replenished, and all these at thy command to come and play before thee? Knowest not their language and their ways? They know also, and reason not contemptibly. With these find pastime, and bear rule. Thy realm is large.
Let not my words offend thee, heavenly power. My maker, be propitious while I speak. Hast thou not made me here thy substitute, and these inferior far beneath me set? Among unequals, what society can sort, what harmony or true delight?
A nice and subtle happiness I see thou proposest to thyself in the choice of thy associates, Adam, and wilt taste no pleasure, though in pleasure solitary. What thinkest thou then of me in this my state? Seem I to thee sufficiently possessed of happiness or not, who am alone from all eternity? For none I know second to me or like, equal much less. Who have I then with whom to hold converse, save these creatures which I made? And those to me inferior, infinite descents beneath what other creatures are to thee.
He ceased. I lowly answered, to attain the height and depth of thy eternal ways, all human thoughts come short. Supreme of things, thou in thyself art perfect. In thee is no deficience found. Not so is man, but in degree, the cause of his desire, by conversation with his like to help collateral love and dearest amity. Thou in thy secrecy, although alone, best with thyself accompanied, seekst not social communication, yet so pleased.
What next I bring shall please thee, be assured. Thy likeness, thy fit help, thy other self, thy wish exactly to thy heart's desire.
Mine eyes he closed, open left the cell of fancy, my internal sight, by which abstract, as in a trance methought I saw, though sleeping where I lay, and saw the shape still glorious before whom awake I stood, who stooping, opened my left side, and took from thence a rib. The rib with cordial spirits warm he formed and fashioned with his hands. Man-like, but different sex, and so lovely fair that what seemed fair in all the world seemed now mean, or in her summed up, in her contained, and in her looks, which from that time instilled sweetness into my heart, unfelt before. She disappeared, and left me dark. I woke to find her, or forever to deplore her loss and all other pleasures abjure. When out of hope, behold, her, not far off, adorned with what all heaven and earth could bestow to make her amiable. On she came. Grace was in all her steps, in every gesture, dignity and love. Thus I have told thee all my state, and brought my story to the sum of earthly bliss, which I enjoy, and must confess to find in all enjoyments else delight indeed, but such as used or not, works in the mind no change or vehement desire. These delicacies I mean of taste, sight, smell, of herbs and fruits, flowers, walks, the melody of birds. Here, far otherwise, transported I behold, transported touch. Here passion first I felt, commotion strange, in all enjoyments else superior and unmoved. Here only weak against the charm of beauty's powerful glance or other creatures. For when I behold her loveliness, so absolute she seems, all higher knowledge in her presence falls degraded. Wisdom in discourse with her loses discountenance, and like folly, authority and reason on her weight. Greatness of mind and nobleness their seat build in her loveliest, and create an awe about her as a god angelic placed.
Accuse not nature. She hath done her part. Do thou but thine, and be not diffident of wisdom. She deserts thee not if thou dismiss not her, when most thou needs her nigh, by attributing overmuch to things less excellent, as thou thyself perceivest. For what admirest thou? What transports thee so? An outside? Fair no doubt, and worthy well thy cherishing, thy honoring, and thy love, not thy subjection. Weigh with her thyself. What higher in her society thou find'st attractive, human, rational? Love still. In loving thou dost well, in passion not.
Neither her outside formed so fair, nor aught in procreation, common to all kinds, so much delights me as those thousand decencies which daily flow from all her words and actions, mixed with love and sweet compliance, which declares unfeigned union of mind, or in us both one soul. To love thou blamest me not, for love thy say leads up to heaven, is both the way and guide. Bear with me then, if lawful what I ask. Love not the heavenly spirits, and how their love express they? By looks only? Or do they mix irradiance, virtual and immediate touch?
Let it suffice thee that thou know'st us happy, and without love no happiness. Whatever thou pure in the body enjoyst, and pure thou wert created, we enjoy in eminence